Cheers.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Ayaw.
Hello, everyone. All right, my name is Mel.
I'm Kai.
This video, we are going to be talking about working together as a couple. All right, first question, how we got started. We started working together as a couple back in 2018. We do have a video where we talked about how we got started in our intro vlog. You can go ahead and watch that if you're interested. But right now, we can jump right ahead to question number 2. What made us decide to work together?
I think it's just accessibility. I'm the one immediately, close to her and is with her all the time. So I feel like that made it easier for you to ask me to take photos.
Yeah. Like I said in the intro vlog, this was really just a hobby in the beginning. I was really fond of taking photos, getting dressed up and then taking photos. And then I would ask her, babe, can you take a photo? And then I'd post it on social media. And then eventually it became something.
Mm-hmm. I think we were confused. I know a lot of people, branding 101, you have to have a specific niche, right? But you don't really figure that out
until later
you have to start doing it and then filtering what works for you, because we started out as I even did product photography when I was trying to sell stuff on eBay. And then the second one was we tried engagement photography, couple family shots, portraits, we did that. And while that was really fun and you get a lot of insight about how you go about family photo, there were signs that type of work may not be what we wanted. And a big piece for it, I think, is the editing part. Because when it comes to those, you really have to, the raw photos will be literally raw, candid. And then in the post-processing, it does require a lot of editing. And in terms of the thing that we do on social media, we barely do any edits, and it's just really making sure the colors are even, because we want to portray the quality of the clothing. That was our goal. We cannot make drastic changes on the feel because the focus in the clothing. And once your audience looks at that, you want it to be true to what is on social media versus what's really, the physical characteristic of it when you go to the store, and it's the right color. It's exactly the color on Mel's social media, and it's real thing.
So in the beginning, we tried so many different things, right? But in the end, we both realized that what would be best is if actually you realized it, if you really supported me all the way.
Correct.
Because in the past, I would just be shooting by myself. It started becoming like a whole process because I had to set up everything. I was shooting everything by myself, setting up the camera, editing afterwards. And instead of it being like a few hours of work, it became long hours of work. And then I'd get frustrated because I wouldn't get the shot that I wanted. Because having a tripod is nice. It's really possible for you to be able to work by yourself, but then it's very limiting too. I only get a straight shot and that's it. There's no variety and whatever. And so that's when I started asking her to take my photos.
True. That is a part of it. The one thing, and you just learn this as you do it, is that am I trying to be a photographer or is she trying to be an influencer? Because you can't be both at the same time. It will be time consuming and your energies will be distributed between the two of you. And there's not a lot of focus. So we made a decision that she's gonna be an influencer and I will support her in whatever endeavor she wants to do and then just be on the back end of it.
So I feel like the turning point really was when we started getting projects.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when you really decided that, okay.
Yeah, drop everything else and just support her.
Because she was also trying to pursue other things, right? like you said earlier, we kind of dabbled into engagement sessions, even family photography too.
I think part of that is you want to look at this type, like you begin with the end in mind, where you want to look, because if you do the photography sessions, right away you will earn money. Right there, you will get projects. People would want their photos to be taken, and you'll get it right there, immediate gratification. But the way we looked at it is we want it to be more of a long-term thing rather than a single project, done project. But for her, we really wanted to look at it as something long-term. So we sacrificed the money from the beginning in order to get to a more long-term.
So we invested, we put money out.
Yeah.
We put money out to invest in good quality gear. At the time, I wasn't really getting much products in, so I had to set aside money to buy products that I really want to try, clothing that
to
really
show,
aligns.
yes,
yeah,
that was necessary because you want to show that you're capable of showcasing a brand's products. So she did mention buying the actual products to showcase your capability to show that, market them. On the other hand, as far as video equipment, we started out with just a digital camera.
That was her first baby. That's how she started like learning.
Yeah,
like
and
using a camera because she couldn't.
Yeah, it's such a steep learning curve, and you have to. Well, I had to really learn. For example, she likes walking shots, and maybe the light is limited. You want to be able to know how to navigate your camera with that, and it need not be something really expensive. We did start out with a Fuji, with a pink jacket.
The very basic Fuji A3 something.
Yeah. And so we sold that and decided to upgrade. We have a Canon 6D. And I think as far as flexibility it's better to get the zoom lens rather than the prime lens because you have that flexibility as far as distances.
And because now that we invested in a good quality gear, I feel like that's also what really pushed you to learn.
Yeah, because it's expensive. Yeah,
because it was expensive, and so now pressure was on.
Yeah.
Right? For you to be able to get better quality shots.
You need to get your ROI, return on investment. We spent probably $5,000. We planned that as well. We didn't get into debt.
Yeah. And it's also really important that when you get into this, planning is involved, especially financially. You don't want to start something and bury yourself in debt and then
you don't have any projects.
Yeah,
that's
so it was very strategic from the very beginning, and so I feel like that really helped us a lot. Like moving forward, and to this day, like where we are in our social media endeavor. So.
We still follow the same principles. Just don't go into debt trying to upgrade your devices.
Whatever you currently have now, may it be an iPhone,
that's perfectly fine.
It can really do its job.
Especially if you're shooting by yourself. I think it's more realistic to just use a phone. Once you get an upgraded gear, it's almost needed that someone needs to be operating that gear rather than just yourself.
Yeah, so when you're starting out, start with what you have. When you start earning is when you start upgrading too. So what has been the biggest challenge you faced as a couple working together?
I think you expecting me to get the shots
immediately.
Perfection. And
perfection from the very beginning.
Mind you, she requires her to be walking, a moving shot, and crisp. No blurry, has to be clear, perfect. When you zoom in, this is how you know. The moment I take shots, she would zoom in, make sure it's clear. Even the details of this, it's that level.
And that level. I was demanding this from her when she was still trying to learn.
Yeah, I didn't even know the composition. I didn't even know how to angle appropriately. I had and this is manual settings. Okay. I think that was the biggest challenge
I
for
feel
me.
like the biggest challenge for the both of us, I think, is that for everyone's information, Kai and I were both alphas, right? So Kai
I don't think I'm an alpha.
Yes, you are.
I
Yes,
don't
you
think
are,
I
my
am.
love.
No.
Yes, you are. So I feel like getting into, or like anything in general, Kai wants things done her way. I want things done my way. And so when we were starting out, it was like we were almost stepping on each other's toes. And also, this is another thing that we learned along the way, is really defining our roles, right? And I feel like that was the biggest challenge, because you were trying to micromanage me. I was micromanaging you a lot. And so that's where conflicts would rise.
Yeah.
Like, and we'd both get frustrated at each other. We both get frustrated at each other because I have a vision and I want it executed this way. She has a vision that she wants me to execute. And so we would clash all the time. I feel like that's the biggest challenge in the beginning.
True. I think
right?
like for me, especially like we've decided that she's going to be an influencer.
Yes.
And then I'm going to be behind the scenes.
Okay.
Which means she's the boss. Anything she says goes. And this will be very evident when it comes to when brands ask you to come in. For example, if there's a brand that wants you to go to a preview, it will be evident if she has been really serious about being an influencer. Because once you get into a preview, and I'm just going to define what a preview is that okay? Because I didn't know that that's called a preview. So a preview is a brand is trying to get into a market and they're showcasing their clothing. So they'll invite
and this is before it gets launched to the public.
Yeah. They invite a lot of influencers and they have photographers there. They have their marketing team there. And once you go in that space, it's work, right? It's work, and immediately they will go to you as the influencer. So you have to have good communication skills and you have to be confident, because you're gonna have to you're gonna have to pose with their photographer. And I was so impressed. I'm like, wow. And this is why she's the influencer and I'm not. Because it really showed in that moment. I said, wow, she knows her stuff. And so when you're doing this as a couple, it cannot be that, like, as far as our experience, it cannot be that I'm controlling, when at the end of the day, if brands want to work with us, they will contact her, not me. Mm-hmm. So I understood that, and it was an important piece of making sure I stay in the back seat. I'm just the support, and I look at all the other components of her work, and I don't force my opinion. She's the boss. That's the key.
No.
Yes. No, it's true.
Okay.
I think it's important.
Okay.
Because it also, you get to really know what you want. You're more free. Whereas if I take control, then you're more restrictive, right? If I'm the one telling you what to do, it will show during a preview, right? You'll be asking me, hey, can you help me?
Yeah.
But that, when we went into that room, I still remember that moment, and she probably doesn't know this, but when we went into that room, she was just in the zone.
Like a switch.
Yeah.
A switch automatically flips, and I'm like, okay, this is it. Let's work. How do you manage conflicts that arise from working together? Debrief.
Yeah.
And communication really is key.
So I think it starts with planning. So you don't get into conflict as you're shooting outdoors. So your responsibility is really to make sure you have the outfits down, ready to go from outfit 1 through 8th. And for me, my job is really to make sure that the cameras are ready, batteries are ready, and I check the weather. The car is all gassed up. We have snacks. We have our water, And depending on the weather, for example, if it's extremely cold, we have to plan that this is like the maximum outfit we're going to do, because we also don't want to get sick. So it starts with planning as you're approaching that endeavor. And once we're in it, right, it's important to communicate.
Right. So again, we really put great emphasis on planning and strategizing in the beginning, so we do not get into conflict. And we've had to learn this the hard way, because in the past we would just wing it, like,
Yeah,
hey, let's
you can-
go.
yeah.
We get to the venue, or we get to our shoot location, and then we realize batteries weren't charged, SD cards
We're
not
full.
in the camera,
Yeah.
or full.
Yeah.
And then that's where
Delays.
this tension starts building up. And so this is where like defining each other's roles, staying on top of each other's responsibilities is
Yeah.
very important. Like now, my main role, and this is my main responsibility, my clothes, my outfits, my face, right? So, and Kai knows clearly that her responsibility is the equipment. She has to stay on top of the equipment. And so once we're in our location, we're ready to roll. And also, like, our dynamic as a couple, also, we really try and do our best to help each other out, like, even as we're prepping for the shoot, right? So I would mainly put my outfits together. She would help by steaming the clothes if they need to be steamed. That's gonna take weight off of me, because putting looks together, you know how difficult, how tasking that is. And so she'd take weight off of my shoulders by steaming the clothes. And in the morning of our shoot, she would prep our breakfast, have that ready for me while I'm doing my makeup. So
And then as she's like getting dressed, I would get the car, put it closer to our apartment. That way we can easily load up
like
all the
load our
stuff.
stuff, yes.
Yeah.
But if we do get into conflict, because it does happen even until now,
Yeah.
if we do get into conflict, we communicate.
We communicate, but the first thing we do is we get the job done first,
Right.
Even if sometimes we would have attitude with each other.
Like we've been we're pissing each other.
Yeah.
We would really do our best to get the job done first, and then let's hash everything out after the job is done.
Yeah, we typically eat after, and
Yes.
so we definitely enjoy our meal, have a dessert. Either we debrief during the meal, what went well and why.
Like what happened?
Yeah,
why did
exactly.
that happen? So moving forward, what can we do
Exactly.
to avoid that from happening again? And so,
But the key thing, and I'm just gonna tell you, the key
What?
thing. Ask the question, who's the influencer?
Yeah.
If you can't answer yes, then
yeah.
it's important, because you're in like there's one car, it can't be two drivers, it's only one driver. So make sure you know you're the passenger and I am the passenger. You have to really go back to that state, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it helps us move forward.
It helps us a lot. So next question, how do you balance work and relationship?
Well, batch content, that's easy. Yeah, we don't really, we probably shoot just once a month. I mean,
Every 2 weeks.
not regularly lately because we have other things, but
Yeah,
I
lately, no.
think we make it work where our calendars are all set at the end of the year. We have a shared calendar and we know when to shoot and not shoot. Weekends are protected.
Yeah. Yes. Again, planning and strategizing, very important. So Kai has been really staying on top of putting everything in the calendar and scheduling. We schedule everything: our shoot days where we just do nothing and spend time with each other, days where we spend time with friends, we socialize. So planning really plays an important role. And also, we know when to put our phones down.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's so easy to get caught in social media. Like
It's a habit almost.
it's
Even
a
if you don't really,
right.
even if it's not work related, it's just your mind automatically almost grabs your phone. So we
Right.
we
The
put that
moment we
away.
wake up, the first thing that we reach for is our phones, and then we get lost in that scrolling through
Yeah,
social media for hours, and then the next thing you know, the day has ended. And so we've really been good about, now it's time for us. It's time to be present for us. Put our phones down and then just talk. So, yeah.
Also schedule, I think every 3 months something.
Yeah.
Like an
Yeah.
out of town. You don't have
Yeah.
to stay overnight.
Yeah.
Just an out of town trip.
Yeah.
Just to
like
unwind.
put in the effort to really do something with each other.
I also think, I know it's work, but I also think whenever we're doing the social media work, that it's our quality time together.
Yes.
It's counted.
So
it's just we're working at the same time.
So the thing about us is we really enjoy spending time with each other. Whatever we're doing, we consider it as spending time. So us working together on shoot days, we consider that as
together.
Couple time.
Like it's not,
but
we have to do,
working.
it can be like, we have to do this again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not
like,
forced.
It's not forced.
Yes.
It has to be something you both love doing and that you see it
Yeah,
as.
and that's the thing, because we both love what we're doing.
Yeah. It's like gym, right? You go to
Right.
the gym as a couple, you spend time there together, but you're doing gym.
Yeah.
And this one is like.
We're enjoying what
Yeah.
we're doing, and so that plays a big role
Okay.
in all of this. Okay, so what are some ways working together has strengthened your relationship?
Practice communication and very clear what is
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah. And also, I think the most important part is really mutually deciding that you want to work things out,
Yeah.
right?
You want it to be, you have to think of it as it's not a hobby and that we need to get an output done. So even if you're like bothered inside, the way I think about it is we need to get things done and and what we feel, even if we don't feel good, that our output looks good. Because it's work really. Yeah, just get things done. And as far as communication piece, you got to be really clear. So for me as a photographer, this outfit, what is the focus? Like, what do you want me
she
to
asks me
focus?
that question every time, like-
because you can't be just all over the place. So if it's jewelry, which part is it? The earrings, you have to really showcase that piece. Otherwise, when you get home, you realize you did not get the shots that you want,
Right.
which is not good.
And I feel like working together has strengthened our relationship. Would you agree?
Yeah, because we communicate better and clearly, not in vague terms or passive aggressive terms. Like really
Right.
clearly, what do you want?
Right. I was able to practice communicating because, just for context, I really am not good at using my words. Every time I'm upset, I used to just wallow in my sorrow and not talk, and that could last for weeks. So I tried changing, and now I'm better at using my words and communicating, and I really thank Kai for really teaching me that, because in the past, issues will never get resolved, or if it does, it takes a million years before it gets resolved, because I would just push back. She would keep pushing my buttons, and I would just withdraw even more. And so working together, I realized that I can't be that way anymore. If I want this to work, I have to learn to use my voice. I have to talk like an adult, handle it like an adult.
Yeah.
I can speak, right? So I have to use my voice and clearly communicate what went wrong. Like if you hurt my feelings, I would tell you how.
Yeah, exactly what I did. I think too is also the tone.
Yeah,
So
the
if you're
tone, oh my
sincere,
God,
like for
yes.
me, my what I learned from her as well is to be able to communicate without raising my voice. Because sometimes it's out of habit. Like in my family, we do tend to raise our voice, and not because we're angry. Even conversations. So I'm more aware.
They're screaming all the time, and I'm not used to that.
Yeah, so I'm more
And
aware
so-
about my tone, my volume, and so just trying to sincerely find what I did
What works,
specifically. Okay, not labeling, for example, oh, you're just not paying attention, but exactly what I did that made you say I'm not paying attention. Yeah. It could be, look at my clothing, like it's, because these things, when you take photos, there was one time we took great
took a
photos.
lot. The photos
and then
were
there was
great.
a hairpin here.
Or there was also one time when
Yeah.
a tag on my jean was popping out. But the photos
Were
in general
great.
were great. But then I can't unsee the tag.
Yeah. So
It was popping
specifically
out,
say,
and so-
as a photographer,
Like-
your job is also to pay attention, not just the angle, but the details of the clothing, make sure everything looks right because
My hair
yeah.
is in place. My lipstick is not like all over my face. And so, yeah.
Well, what was the question?
What are some ways working together has strengthened your relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah, communicating.
Communicating, I think that's the best
Yeah.
one. And just be calm.
Yeah, just be calm. So what's the most rewarding part of working together?
That I actually, you go. You answer first because I always answer first. You go. You go answer.
Okay, I feel like the most rewarding part is we win together, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think
Not just in like in our personal lives, but also like professionally in something that we're passionate about. And then, like for example, we get a brand deal, we submit assets, and it was a hit. The brand loved it. And so I would count that as a win, not just for me, but also for her, because she mainly was the one who took all my photos, who took all my videos. And so if a brand loves that, that's her work too. And so that's like win-win, right?
yeah.
And I feel proud of her, proud of myself, and proud of the team that we are.
Yeah.
Aw.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, right?
For me, the most rewarding thing is being able to learn new things, I think. I know it's so broad, but got to a point where sometimes the reward is the actual learning. As you are doing a new pursuit, you don't realize these little details until you actually start doing it. And with this endeavor, I feel like I developed my entrepreneurial mind.
And that you actually love it.
I actually love
right?
it, yeah. And that I'm able to practice also financial management.
Yes.
Because you can't be just spending, including time management.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the learning piece that I'm learning something new.
And as we're doing this, I like every day we've been together, we've been married 6 years, right? As we keep working together, I still learn new things about Kai. Like every time we shoot, I'm like, now I know what's her trigger, right? Like,
why does it have to be a trigger?
no, I mean like
what is
I know what makes her tick. I know when she starts saying a certain thing, or when I start seeing like her face getting distorted, I already know that, okay, it's time for a break. Like it's time for a pee break, it's time for a snack break, it's time for
basic needs
break, because Kai needs her
tired.
basic needs addressed or she can't function. She will throw a tantrum. So I already know and accepted that. And so now I know better to work around that, so then we don't get into conflict.
Yeah. That's another piece of communication.
Yeah. And
like
sometimes,
sometimes like I'm taking the shots and I'm not feeling it, but it's not really in terms of skill. I just really need to eat.
Right. She just needs her stomach filled, right? Okay.
Next.
What advice would you give couples starting out on social media to grow and engage with their audience authentically?
Don't create another persona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because sometimes what you show on social media, and that's okay too. It's very hard to maintain.
Yeah.
It's hard to maintain.
Right. It's not sustainable in the long run, because then you'd have to wake up in the morning and let's turn off a switch.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard.
Right.
Yeah. It's already hard as it is. So keep your persona, how you talk. Like this is really how I talk. Like as you can see, it's like a professor, a lecture based, versus how she talks. Yeah.
Right. And don't sacrifice your beliefs just to stay relevant, right?
Yeah.
Just to get a project, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like in the beginning for me, I was really very firm about saying no to an offer when I know for a fact that it does not align.
Yeah, she does.
For example,
she doesn't drink,
that's
so
correct.
It doesn't make sense for her to accept
A deal.
a deal with a liquor brand when she doesn't drink in the first place.
Yeah, and my followers know that. And so it would be very pretentious of me to promote a liquor brand when my followers know I do not drink.
Well, actually, you drink, but more on the sweet side.
Okay.
It's not straight up liquor. Like it has to be like Moscato di Asti.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
Prosecco is
the
good.
The cutie
Yeah,
liquor.
yeah.
The
Something
cutie
like
alcohol.
on the sweet side. Not very like any whiskey, tequila, things like that. She doesn't really drink
I'm
those
not
types.
really a fan.
Beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you wanna just stay true to that.
And also really engage with your audience. That's very important. Build a community. Find the right people. Surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that really made working together, I don't know if you'd agree, but this is something I would really highly advise, and this is what worked for us. Kai actually gets compensation for the work that she does, right? She does get, for every brand deal that we close, she does get a percentage of whatever I earn. So this is basically, because it makes sense, right? Because this is now a business, right? That the both of you are in. So for me, and this is my mindset, if I earn, she also has to earn, because she does put her time and effort into this. This isn't just her, oh yeah, let me just take a full day of my time to shoot you, right? And not get anything in return. Right? So it also was kind of a motivator for her to really step up, because now I'm getting paid for this. This isn't just me shooting my wife for cute photos, right? Now she has to take full responsibility of the job. This is a job now.
Correct.
Right?
The output, really, you have to. That's why I have to know and part of the planning, you have to know, shoot tomorrow, is there a brand deal associated with this? Because if there is, that has to be the very first one you shoot, because your energy levels are still up, you're hyper focused, the light is perfect, so you want to get that done, and making sure which piece is the paid one, because that is the piece you're gonna really have to highlight during that shoot. And in order to be successful, your role, like my role, is not just taking photos, taking videos, but I look at other things too. Like, for example, researching, making sure we're on trend. If she's not growing, then I look at that, why that is.
Like, what else can we do?
What else can we do?
Right. And she does handle a lot of the back end.
Recording, the cash flows in and out.
Like my principle is, if I'm earning, people around me should be earning as well. So if I'm going up, everyone else should go up too. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a motivator. For me, it is a motivator. Yeah.
It's a motivator, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just, because sometimes creating content can really be
exhausting.
It does get exhausting over time. It's not, especially when you get deals, a ton of deals, like in a period, right? It can get really draining. And so you as an influencer, that is your passion. Your partner, that may not be their main passion. They want to probably pursue other things, but now they can't because they choose to support you.
Yeah.
And so how I give back is through compensating her for the work
I think
that
that's
she does.
fair. So it's not fair. It's not a 50-50 cut, obviously, because she can be an influencer without me having to be the photographer. She can hire someone else, but I cannot be the photographer that I am today without her. Right? My work got highlighted because of her. So it's not 50-50, but you can negotiate. Don't worry, it's not 50-50. But trust me, you can negotiate.
Okay.
So what's next, Mel Mondigo? What's next?
What's next? Okay, obviously, Instagram, still our priority, but now we're moving to pursuing YouTube.
Yay!
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has subscribed, who has been watching our videos. We really hope to grow and also really hone our skills in the side of social media, this platform. We really hope we'd be able to come up with content that does make an impact, that does give you value. And so if there's anything else you want to see from us, do let us know in the comments. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun so far. It's something new. It's something new, and we're still trying to
figure it out,
but we're having fun in the process.
Yes.
I am having fun in the process, especially.
Me too.
You are?
Yes.
Sure? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe, like,
comment,
and comment. Okay.
Share.
We'll get
Turn
this down.
on the notification button.
We'll get this down.
Good job. Cheers.